You got to get around people with a different identity. When you change your identity, you change your life. You won't ever run into a circumstance where you have found yourself off track for the last 3 weeks or month. You have the identity of somebody who shows up to work every day and is successful. My name is Brian Pannuzzo. I'm an executive coach that helps successful financial professionals get wealthy outside of the office in their mind, their bodies, and their relationships. I'm an expert at this because I did it myself. I was a financial professional for 20 years. I sat in a seat just like you do inside of corporate America. If I can do it, so can you. Welcome back to the show. I appreciate you being back with me. We are leaving the first quarter and heading into quarter number 2. This week, we head into April. We leave Q1 behind. How'd it go for you? I always like to check in with my clients. I like to check in with people on my email list. If you're not on my email list, you can go to thesuccesslift.com/join and get on there. You'll probably see an email from me this week referencing the beginning of the second quarter, the end of the first. Time flies, everyone. I often say the hours can go by very slowly. The days can take what feels like weeks to go by, during the work week especially. But man, how fast do the weeks and months and even years fly by. We were just in a holiday season. We will be at the summer in a heartbeat. Are you ready? Are you building your summer body right now? We are going to look back on this moment and say, I can't believe time has flown by. If you have kids like you do, and they're anywhere near my kids' ages, they're 15 and 10, you can remember the stages of their life that they were previously in. We are now out of the young kids stage where we're going to Little League baseball games and hanging around town all weekend, or holed up inside because we have new babies. I have some clients that just had new kids, and their lives are very different than mine. And there's aspects of that life that you're going to miss, even though you feel like you're in the thick of it right now. There's aspects of the life I'm living right now as an Uber driver with 2 kids that don't have licenses, all over the place, my son goes to school an hour away. He plays baseball and basketball games an hour and a half away. That's one way, by the way. He's doing this multiple times per week. I am way over my miles on my car lease, heavily negotiating with the GMC dealer that I need to renegotiate my terms. I need to buy out my car. I need to do something, but I ain't paying the overage of miles. So this phase I'm going to miss. As soon as my son has his license, I'm not going to get that 60 or 90 minutes in the car with him to and from games, maybe to and from school. Sometimes he usually takes the bus because we ain't driving him an hour each way every day. You're going to miss the time that you're in right now, this season of your life that you're in right now, this phase that you're in is going to go by real quick. And so how did the first quarter go for you? Did you do some of the things that you said you're going to do? Did you get off to a hot start with dry January and some other bullshit challenge? Are you in the same place that you were last end of March or beginning of April? Are you in the same place that you were in November before the holidays started, where you went straight up like a rocket ship with your, weight on the scale and your vices, and then back down to start the year, new you, new year, new you? And are you right back in the same place? And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And so if you're challenging yourself to death, if you're going to the same Barry's boot camp class, if you're removing sugar, if you're avoiding alcohol for short periods of time, only to come back to the same behavior over and over again, I would ask you, if you did this in your business and it continually didn't work and produce results, would you continue to do it? Of course, the answer is no fucking way. You would never do it. And so why do you do it in your personal life? Why do you run hot in your marriage for a couple of weeks and then have the same fight over and over again? Why do you quit something for a month, for Lent? We're in Lent season now. People are giving up things, and that's great. It's great to do that. It's great to make sacrifice. But if you're going to go right back to your behavior that you exhibited for years prior to this, what actually has changed? What have you sacrificed? What are you doing? And you would never, ever do this in your business. And so times like this are a great time to take a little bit of stock and audit, which is a key principle inside of my programs because I work with so many financial professionals. The concept of auditing is very familiar to them. The concept of compound interest is very familiar to them. You likely understand compound interest very well and the power that it can have in your wealth, building your wealth. If you own a home, that home is likely way more valuable than it was 10 years ago. And so the compounding effect in our lives of daily actions that we take can either produce incredible results or it can produce the results that you have right now. Because like it or not, your results have been compounding based on the actions that you have been taking. And it's not what you've been doing for the last month or 3 months. It's what you've been doing for the last year or 3 years or 5 years, or in my case now, 10 years. And I would encourage you to figure out how to run your own race, because when you look at people who are 10 years down the line and compare yourself to someone maybe like me who's 10 plus years into a journey now, sometimes that can feel unrelatable. And so you want to find other people that might be a little bit more relatable to you, that are slightly ahead of you on the journey. I've always said to a quote I really like, to a second grader, a fifth grader is a god. And that's how I got my business started. I just became a fifth grader working with second graders. Now, maybe I'm in graduate school and I have high school students and college students, and I still have the occasional second grader every now and then, but I'm attracting more and more people who are more advanced along in their journey, who want to go from pretty good or really good to elite to great, because there is no finish line in our lives when it comes to chasing the next version of ourselves. There's always another version of you on the horizon. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm having a ton of fun doing it with the clients and the teams that I'm working with. What I want to talk about this week is getting into new environments and the power that I've experienced from doing that in my life. Continually, I've decided to get into new environments over the last 10 years, and every single time that I've done it, literally every single time that I've done it, it's provided me with a massive, here's another familiar concept, return on investment. The ROI to getting into an environment that forces you to level up is exponential. Every single time I've taken my money I've earned and I've put it towards bettering myself, bettering my knowledge of how to coach people, bettering my relationship, changing my physical appearance. It has resulted in a massive transformation every other area of my life. And that's the cool part. It's totally correlated, but it's completely uncorrelated. I can show you examples, myself included, of going all in particular area of my life and having another area that on paper is not even correlated. So your fitness and your business, your marriage and your mindset and your business, your mindset and your marriage, your fitness and your mindset, it's all connected. It's all connected. And when you are not feeding one of those or all of those on a consistent basis, you are not reaching your unlimited potential, all of those areas. And one way to do that is to go into a new environment, walk into a new room with new people that are doing things that you desire to do. And the best way to do this, in my experience, is to find environments where their standard is your goal. And so recently, I've put myself into 2 new environments, one from a business perspective and one from a networking, marriage, and probably ultimately a business perspective as well. I've joined a new business network with some coaches that will help me grow my business to the next level. Now, my business is growing incredibly well. I just looked at my numbers for the first quarter of this year. It's up 150% from Q1 in 2024. It's up 50% from Q4 of 2024. And every quarter in 2024, my business grew fairly substantially, at least in the mid-teens and maybe even more. Now, are the absolute dollars that I want to earn where I wanted them to be? No, they're not. But that's also because I have ridiculously high goals and they're turning into standards for me, which is a key. Okay. Now, what do I attribute that to? Well, I attribute it to a lot of things. I attribute it to me being a great coach, me learning, me applying to my clients, me getting great results for my clients. They're doing the work. I'm just guiding them along the way. I'm the shotgun. I'm riding shotgun in your car. You got to drive the car. I'm the COO. That's what I wanted to say. I step into your life as the COO to ride shotgun in your car to help you navigate the way. We establish a destination for you. I help you with the turn by turn directions along the way. I let you know when you've made a wrong turn, just like the GPS does. The GPS doesn't send your ass back home. The GPS reroutes you. And that's what a great coach does. And if you have a great plan and you're committed to the destination, you'll find yourself getting off track less and less. You'll find yourself in those wrong neighborhoods, driving around in circles. Now, every once in a while, we want to take rest stops. One, because the journey is long. The journey is a lifetime. And so you can't get there in one ride on one tank of gas. You do have to refuel. You do want to stop and see the sights. I'll use this analogy with clients of mine or prospective clients. If you and I were going to embark on a cross-country trip from New York City to LA, we would likely have to make multiple stops. It would take us multiple days to do it. And along the way, we might go through some cities or see some experiences that we haven't done before, we haven't experienced before. And so if we're driving through Texas and you tell me that we need to go to a University of Texas football game because I've never been and I've never experienced a stadium of 100,000 people going bananas in the stands for a team, I might say, well, that sounds like an amazing idea. Let's do that. Who cares if it takes us an extra 24 hours to get to California from New York? The problem is that most of us end up tailgating in the parking lot on Tuesday and Wednesday morning, and the game ended on Saturday afternoon. And so my job, the job of a great coach, is to remind you on Sunday morning that the game is over and it's time to get your ass back in the car and to start driving down the highway again. And that's what great coaches do. And so I've inserted myself into an environment where I'm now around people who are doing things that I desire to do. They are producing revenue in their business. They are growing their business. They are working with people who I want to work more with. All right? Their standard is my goal. Their bad months are my good months. Their goals are dizzying for me to even think about right now. How in the world would I develop a $20 million business? Now, I have an idea, but I'm not sure what the execution is. And so if I don't know what the execution is, why wouldn't I go find people who are closer to that goal than I am? Why wouldn't you go find somebody who's closer to the goal that you have for yourself as an individual or for yourself as a team inside of your organization and have them help you do the things that you want to do? And they know the way because they were there. They have been there. If you want to know the road ahead, if you want to know the directions, ask the people coming back. Have them tell you what's going on. That's the beauty of the GPS systems, ways that we have right now. We're able to know real time what's going on. There's an accident ahead. There's a roadblock ahead. There's congestion ahead. They're able to reroute you, and rerouting yourself to continually move forward is the way you will get to your goal. It will always take time. There is no substituting the need for the compounding effect for you to improve your life. But you can certainly time collapse it. You can get there quicker by taking the right set of directions. And the more we drive around in circles, not on our journey to our predetermined destination, the more that time to destination just starts to stretch further and further and further away. And many of you are in a car, in air quotes, driving around, getting nowhere with your time to destination just simply expanding over and over and over again. And one way to stop that from happening is to find people who have already done and who are actively doing the things that you want to do. Getting into a new environment with your business, getting into a new environment with your health and fitness, with your mindset, with your marriage. These are all critical things for you to do. I find that most people don't take that action step, don't take that first step. It's the start that stops most people because other people around them are not doing it. And you don't inherently want to be an outcast. Nobody likes to be a lone wolf. It's cool, maybe on social media, to talk about it or to think about it. But if you think about it from an evolutionary standpoint, we were not designed to run alone. We were designed to participate in groups, to evolve in a pack mentality. You being outcast from the pack likely meant you weren't going to survive for very long. And yet in our society now, especially men, especially high performing, high income men who are married with a family, we feel like we need to take this on our shoulders and do it all ourselves. And I'm telling you from firsthand experience that doesn't work. That doesn't work like at all. And you may be juggling the balls that you have to juggle right now, and you may be doing okay, or the dreaded, I'm doing pretty good. How many times I hear I'm doing pretty good? I'd already be at a $20 million business if I got paid each time I heard that. And I find that most people don't take the action that they need to because they're not in the right environment. And when you can surround yourself with people who are actively looking to achieve the things that you are, who have shared goals, who have shared values, it's incredible what you can become capable of in a very short period of time. The other thing is that people around you secretly want to be led. They want you to show up and help them do some of these things. They're just too afraid to ask. I tell the story of sitting inside of my career, my old career, on a trading desk, which is not a conducive place to change your behavior because of the ball busting, because of the alpha culture, because everyone's so close to you, watching everything you do, listening to every conversation that you have. You're arm's length away from 20 people every single day. And I vividly recall the evolution of people at the time. I didn't know, but they were just curious. But curiosity can come across as ball busting because that's the culture that many of us live in on a day in and day out basis. And quite frankly, I really wouldn't want it any other way if you asked me. But that ball busting, that curiosity, those questions, that jabbing and poking fun at you, those can feel much more severe when you first start. And so when I first started to do things differently, I got asked a lot of questions. And immediately I went right into my shell and I decided that this wasn't the right thing to do because it made me uncomfortable. So having a place for me to go to more comfortable, to be around people that were doing the same things that I was doing was a huge unlock for me. And the first time I ever did that was 2018 inside of a men's group that my good friend now Jay Ferrugia ran. That was when I realized that there were other people out there just like me. And they weren't even in my profession. Now there's plenty of people in my old profession that are doing this. I work with dozens of them. I work with multiple teams that are just like you. Okay. And so if you think that you may want to do something different, but others around you won't be supportive, I'm here to tell you that they will be. Over time, they will be. But you need to push through that resistance. And getting help pushing through that resistance from a new environment can really be beneficial. Because that's the thing. You can't change your work environment. If you don't have a super supportive home environment yet, which some of my clients don't have when they start, sometimes the people that can push back on us the most are the people that we actually believe are the closest to us. And they sometimes are. And that can cause an issue for us. And so having a place to go where you have a safe place, where you can share things, where you can be motivated by people doing bigger things. If you've played team sports before, you know one of your teammates has been hot at times, another one's been cold at times. And when a team is hot, you draft off of their momentum, right? They motivate you to do as well as they're doing. You may even say to yourself from a competitive perspective, well, that guy's not that much better than me. If they can do it, if they can get hot like that, so can I. You also have had a teammate who's been struggling. What is your instinctive reaction when a team member is struggling? You lift them up. You pull them along with you. And so this team concept of constantly chasing the leader and constantly pulling the people that are dragging behind can change your life. It literally can change your life if you're in a new environment, right? The old adage, people don't rise to their goals, they fall to their standards. You need to be in an environment that has higher standards. How can you ever expect to stop drinking alcohol if you go to the bar with a bunch of people who drink alcohol 3 times a week? It's never going to happen. So you have to go find a new environment. And you can take that analogy. It's not just about drinking. You can take it with a bunch of people who complain about their wives when they go out to have beers, or a bunch of couples that go out and they just constantly nag at each other and bitch at each other and take their private conversations and their differences and they air them out at a dinner table during couples dinner. Have you ever had that happen to you? It's the most uncomfortable fucking thing in the world. So why wouldn't you get around marriages that are like, wow, really enviable? Like these people, of course they have problems. Of course they do. They have a lot of problems, but they're actively working on it together to improve. Why wouldn't you want to be in that kind of environment with people who are actively trying to make their marriages epic? Why wouldn't you want to get around people who are incredibly fit, who value their health, who think about the things that they're going to put in their body on a regular basis so that they can perform their best, that they look their best, that can be more confident, so that they can walk into the boardroom, into the business meeting, into the sales call, and be uber confident. If you want to make more money, go get incredibly physically and mentally fit. Go improve your marriage. I'm telling you, it is one of the biggest unlocks that no one thinks about because it doesn't have on paper anything to do with making more money. But I can tell you from firsthand experience and from the experience of the hundreds of people that I've worked with now, no one has ever made $1 less after they've worked with me. And it's not because of me. It's because of what they're doing. It's because of the work they're doing. It's because of the things that they're unlocking in their own mind, the beliefs that they're breaking down, that they have to give up certain things in order to get others. You don't. There's unlimited resources in the world, in our lives. There's an infinite amount of money out there for you. There are millions of people who are incredibly fit, who have epic marriages. Maybe not millions. Thousands of people approaching millions who are incredibly fit, epic marriages, who are rich as fuck. And why shouldn't you be one of them? I am. I want to be. I want to be more rich. I want to have a better marriage. I want my body to be able to do things that it's not capable of right now. That's a phase I'm in. Aesthetically speaking, I'm pretty good. I probably don't need to do a whole lot of work on how I physically look. But what I can do, how I can perform, that needs a lot of work. That needs a lot of work. You get me running up and down a basketball court right now, and my hip starts to hurt and my lungs are burning. So I need to work on that. So I went and hired a coach who is incredibly gifted at performance, at helping me turn myself into a real athlete again. Not just somebody who's big, strong, lean, jacked, and can look the part. I want to play the part. I want to play the part. Okay? You got to get around people with a different identity. When you change your identity, you change your life. You won't ever run into a circumstance where you have found yourself off track for the last 3 weeks or month. You have the identity of somebody who shows up to work every day and is successful. Have you ever taken a month off of work because some random shit's happened? Because you had a bad couple of days? Of course not. You suck it up and you grind through it because you have an identity of a businessman or a businesswoman. You care about your career. You care about the results it produces. So you show up, but you take time off in your marriage. You take time off with your nutrition. You take time off with your fitness, and you just chalk it up to like falling off the wagon. What are you, nuts? You would never do that at work because of your identity. And so you need to develop an identity of somebody who does these things. The best way to do that is to get around other people who do. To get around people whose standard is to have a six-pack, whose standard is to have sex in their marriage 4 times a week, highly connected, incredibly loving, joking, playful, best friends. You don't have to be best friends with your wife, but you should be able to talk to her like a best friend. But if you're not around these type of people, you can't get firsthand knowledge. I spent time in Hawaii with a guy named Dan Martell. We're boys now. We're pretty much boys. Dan runs, I think, $100 million business a year, not like $100 million in the bank, $100 million business a year. I got to watch how he lives his life. He wrote a book called Buy Back Your Time. He didn't pack for his trip to Hawaii. He's been in Hawaii for the last like 3 weeks. His house manager packed. Now, I get it. You might be thinking, it must be nice to have a house manager. You got people that work at your house. I know you do. So do I. Now, should they be packing your bags? I don't know. But should you not be doing things in your house that you're doing right now? Definitely. Definitely. Every time I've picked up a dish or folded a towel since I got back from Hawaii, I can hear Dan yelling at me. What is your hourly rate? Are you doing things inside of your life that are below your hourly rate? I'm really good at meal prepping and running to the grocery store and getting food ready and getting all these things ready around me. I'm like a doer. Give me a list. I tack a list. I want to cross stuff off a list. You give me a list and there's not something on it that I do, I'll go put the damn thing on the list just so I can cross it off. What the hell is that about? It doesn't make any sense. It's already done. Why do I put it on the list? Because I get satisfaction out of it. But am I doing things that are paying me what I'm worth? A lot of times throughout the day, absolutely not. And so to spend time with someone like that, who runs a business the way he does and doesn't have email. Dude doesn't have email. He meets with his assistant every day in the morning, just like Richard Branson does. She gives him a lowdown of things that she hasn't handled that she needs his input on. Then she goes and handles it. And Dan runs his day. Imagine not having email. Wild. If somebody like that can do it, I can't do it. I ain't running a $100 million business yet. And I'm like frantically returning emails to people sometimes. You're like, your inbox, how many times have we talked about our email inbox being overwhelming? What if you didn't have one? Again, before your brain goes to, that's not possible. Damn right it is. If he can do it, so can you. You know what the other cool thing about getting into new environments is that you realize that these people who you may find to be very intimidating or you may believe are some combination of DNA that you're not, is that at the end of the day, they're all normal people. Put their pants on one leg at a time. They tie their shoes one at a time. They eat food just like you do. They do a lot of the same things you do. And when you get into human conversations with them and can connect with them, you realize that you're much more like them than you're not like them. And it reinforces, just like I say at the beginning of the show, if they can do it, so can you. If I can do it, so can you. If I can change my life sitting inside of corporate America on a trading desk as a financial professional, working 10 to 12 hours a day, being out a couple nights a week, going to my kids' function, rebuilding a marriage that was on the brink of divorce, spending quality time with my wife. If I can do it, so hope you found this one helpful. If you did, share it with somebody. I appreciate you. See you back here next week.